Welcome to the Creepin' It Real Show, your one-stop shop for weird news, spooky, and otherworldly and paranormal shenanigans. We'll take a dive into what's going on in creepy pop culture. You can follow Creepin' It Real Show on Twitter at creepin_it. You can email us at creepinitrealshow@gmail.com. You can also go to our website, creepinitrealshow.com. Without further ado, welcome to this week's episode.
Well, I just hit record.
Woo!
Just
All
now.
All right, we're rolling.
Can you believe it?
Well, welcome back to the Creepin' It Real Show. Is that even what it's called? I don't remember after all this time.
Right?
This is Moni, and of course I'm here with Kristi.
Guess who's back?
And
back again.
But tone deaf white bitches.
That's right. That's right.
I'm very excited to be doing this, not the least of which to hang out with Kristi and whatnot, but this is also the most normal thing as far as like my old, what has it been now, 4 months ago routine. I'm in a new house. Right. I'm in a new job.
Yeah.
Everything is completely, and it's like a work from home. So, and my kids don't go to school. Everything is completely like different from March 13th to like the next day.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Anyway.
And it seems like the next day was literally 4 months ago was the next day. It seems like this has been
so weird.
One day.
Nothing. People ask me what day it is. I'm like, I don't know.
I don't fucking know. Though, I mean, the year's is over, halfway over. Like we got how many? 5 months? That's
Thank
it.
God, get rid of this fucking year. I've been crying over John Lewis's death and every other thing happening this stupid year. If we survive this, and it's going to be. Our new motto now for my company is "We love you 2021" because you can't say Marvel has "We love you 3000," so you can't say what Marvel says, and you can't say "I love 2020" because this is a shit show. So our motto to talk to each other, our little in joke, is "We love you 2021."
But don't you think maybe you're jumping the gun just a little bit? I mean, is 2020 really gonna be that much better than right now? I mean, please tell me it is, but I'm scared. I'm scared to hope.
Yeah, well, one thing hopefully will be better is we vote for our lives, but other than that,
if it's allowed to take effect, I mean, shit. I don't want to sound like a crazy person, but damn, I'm starting to see the writing on the wall.
Let's just say you can't resurrect some of our favorite people who have passed away the past few weeks and have them die again next year. So I guess it's better than that.
God,
And on that note, I've made it sound so cheery, but I'm happy to be here. Kristi, you've had some adventures. Is there anything you want to I know them, but is there anything you want to share with everybody, or are we waiting on that?
I have not. So I did I don't even know how to explain it. I had an amazing opportunity to interview Stormy Daniels. That sounds kind of weird, but she is doing and filming a paranormal show. And this is, you know what? Sometimes when you think I should do something, but no, I'm not going to. No, this is a great story of why you should. So, I follow her on all her social medias, and me and my family talking about being quarantined or sitting on our patio. Me and my 17-year-old daughter and my husband are playing a game, and I'm just scrolling through Instagram, and I see Stormy Daniels posting about her new paranormal show. And I was like, that's awesome, because first of all, I like Stormy Daniels, not because of the shit, yes, that's lovely that she did all those things politically, but she's the queen of fucking roasting people on social media. Oh my God, I live for it. I can't tell who's better, her or Chrissy Teigen. It's my favorite thing. Like, I came for the Trump news, but I stayed because she just roasts the shit out of these dumbass men who think like they're going to own her in some way. And so I've just been a fan ever since. And so I messaged her on Instagram and said I would love to do an interview about her new show. Hey, I was very honest. I said, we have a paranormal podcast. We're not the highest, but we rock, and we do good. We love paranormal, And
we're us.
Yeah.
So you're welcome, everybody.
I told her the name of my show, and I put my phone down and I played the game all night and went to bed. I didn't even check my phone. And then woke up the next morning and she had responded on my phone, like messaged me several times that night and was like, oh my God, I love the name of your show. Like she thought it was awesome. And then she asked me where I was located. And I'm thinking, well, I mean, we can do this on Zoom. It doesn't have to be in person. But I told her I'm in Atlanta. She's like, I'm going to be in Atlanta next week. And then she asked me all these questions and asked me for help on finding certain like points to take pictures and things like that. And then we just started talking about all our personal life and back and forth for like a week. And then she invited me to do a segment on her show, which I have no idea. I mean, I get it. TV, you don't show everything. So if I don't show up on our show, I'm not going to cry myself to sleep. I wouldn't be surprised. But anyway, so I helped her find a great photo session place and met her there. And even when I woke up that morning and I was supposed to go, I'm like, she's not going to call me. And I'm sitting in my pajamas and I get a phone call and I look at my phone and it says Stormy Daniels, which I didn't have her phone number, but apparently Apple knows her number and is like, maybe Stormy Daniels is calling you. And I was like, oh shit. So I answer it and she's like, we're here. Where are you? And it was like an hour and a half before earlier than what she said she was going to be there for. And I was like, okay. So I got up like, I'm wearing my pajamas. And so I had to get up and change my clothes.
I have to change my clothes.
Right. And then I went in and I helped her out with her photos. And then I left and, I was supposed to meet her the next morning to do the podcast. But even then I'm like, she's not going to be able to do it. She's going to be up. She's been up all night doing the investigation. She had been here all day doing photos and footage for her show. Then she goes and does the investigation all night. Like, she's not going to fucking get up in the morning and do a show with me, my podcast interview. She totally did. She emailed me. I was like, holy crap. So I got to do an interview with her. And this was 2 weeks ago. And the only reason...
It looks super fun.
The only reason why I haven't posted it yet is because I have been gone. I haven't been at home. And I didn't have the real equipment to listen to the show because in the middle of the show, we start doing a ghost investigation. We're sitting in a haunted hotel.
That's so cool.
And so I didn't want to just use my AirPods to listen to the show and not do it right. And so now I'm home. I just got home yesterday. And I'm like, okay, now I can sit down and actually listen to the footage and do it right. And listen for, spirits and things that was going on. I just felt like it would be cheap if I didn't do it the right way. So
yeah, by
the time you all listen to this, the show will be posted, but I just wanted to give you a little insight of what happened. And she's awesome. Her boobs are as good as they look. They really are. They are fantastic. And I was obsessed with them and was staring at them. And she probably thought I was the biggest creep ever. But I don't care because I was like, your boobs are fantastic. Like, I don't even know what else to say about it. Priorities. But holy crap. Yeah, but she's the real deal, y'all. I mean, she's so nice. And I'm not like, I've met so many celebrities. It is what it is. It's just, it was my job for a long time. But she's incredibly sweet and very genuine, and she actually gets her money from like equestrian farms. Like, she's just the most down to earth, cool person. And it was a joy to be around all of them. Her whole team were super nice, welcoming, kind, took me right in and just, welcomed me into their investigation. Like, I wasn't even an outsider. So once their show posts, I'm not at liberty to say who's posting it or who's doing any of that. But y'all give her a huge piece of support. Yeah. You guys really do need to watch it. And her crew is the real fucking deal. She has a guy. I say kid because he's young, but the guy's been all over the world. He's a witch doctor exorcist. Like, he's traveled all over the world performing like exorcisms, and he's something. Because when we were at a cemetery, I have I took him to a cemetery that I know that is old, and And I was walking around and I was like feeling like nauseous in a certain area and all of that. And I didn't say a word. I was just kind of walking around and he stopped at the same area and he was like, something right here. And he was just kind of kneel and try to figure things out. And he's very meticulous. And I found out he's a Capricorn. So him and I'm Sagittarius, but Capricorns and Sags, we have we have good relationships. And he's like, I knew I liked you. And we hit it off. And, but the whole team, they're great. And I just wish nothing but the best for them. And I hope that they get, that their show has good success. So not because my face is on it.
Ghost.
Right. Oh my God. And her boobs again. And then her assistant, I don't know what you call her assistant. She's not an assistant. She's like she's sensitive. I think her name is Anya. She's stunningly gorgeous. Like, stunning. You'll see. Just if you follow Spooky Babes on social media, you'll see all of them during their filming and you will just stare. This girl is like, she's a gypsy. She's from a line of gypsies or like, she's holy shit. Yeah. I was the odd man out in that group. Let me just tell you. I was like,
sounds really fun though.
It was fun. And I was, oh my God, that's what I mean when I say, you know what? Like when you think of doing something and you think, no, do it. I mean, that just motivated me to take a few more chances in my life because I'm so self-depreciating. Like, what are you doing? You're going to look ridiculous. And then I did something and it turned out well. And I'm like proud of myself. I mean, even at 45, we learn life lessons. Like, don't be so self-depreciating and don't be so self-conscious and, do stuff. And it was funny because when I was breaking down for the interview, I was at the hotel and their hotel and I was breaking the cameras down and everything. And she was talking to the girl, Anya, who's stunning. And she's like, when you're old, because Stormy's older than that girl. And I'm like, quit saying that. You're giving me a complex. And she's like, well, you're not as old as I am. I'm like, I'm 45 and she's 41. And she was like, shut up. And she's like, kidnap her and take her and put her on the bus. She's coming with me. And I was like, and she's like, I need another ginger. I was like, please don't kidnap me. I have a family.
Add a ginger.
Think of the family. But it was funny. But yeah, she just, it was such a fun experience. I had a great time. I needed it during this fucking quarantine and no regrets, right?
No regrets.
So anyway, with that, Moni has a new job, a new life. She's moved. And everything. And I want you to just do, and I'm not controlling this show, but I would love for you to talk a little bit about your nonprofit that you started and see if there's anybody out there that would, want to join and benefit from it.
Yeah, and actually, I think a couple folks from our podcast have followed over there. So thank you for that. I know Stephanie, I won't give her last name, but I know she has.
Yeah.
So I am 3-4 months running a nonprofit in addition to my other new job that I can't talk about yet, but there are related. But my nonprofit right now is dedicated to promoting literacy and education through the use of comics. That's one side of it. And the other side of it is dedicated to finding new artists, new illustrators, new writers, or people who just, haven't made a living yet doing it and helping to promote those folks any way we can. We have been able to connect a couple people with paid opportunities. And then on the other side of things, we are developing some toolkits for using comics in classrooms and using them in libraries. And so we've got a really great team on both sides of that to help out anybody who needs it. So if you ever have questions on how to get your art out there, actually Josh, who is a friend of the show, we just wrote a book. We just put out a book. We didn't write it, I guess. We put together a collection of art and of writing from our very talented network of creators. The 100% of the sale is $12. So $5 of which goes to the African American Museum of Arts in San Diego, and $5 of each sale goes to the California LGBT Alliance, Art Alliance. And then the $2 goes for the online seller's fees. So we get none of it, is what I'm trying to say. But it's a gorgeous book. It features so many beautiful, talented creators and short stories. One chapter on Black Lives Matter, one chapter on LGBT, and then one that is just kind of showcasing what our creators are capable of with all of their social media and all of their contact information included. So it's a really great opportunity for new talent. I am shopping international distribution for this book. I have some leads on that. We also, on the educator side, have some publishers interested in working with us. So if you're one of those folks or you want to be involved in that kind of thing, it is creatorsassemble.org. That is where you can go to find everything you'll want to know. We do all kinds of video content. So we have interviews with some of your favorite creators. We are going to be offering a lot of how-tos on our YouTube page. And again, creatorsassemble.org is where you'll go to find all this information.
Awesome. Yeah, man. Aww. You have been kicking some asses.
I've been busy AF, I'll tell you what. So, but yeah, without further ado, I suppose we should dive into today's show. We will be talking about the new Unsolved Mysteries. There will be spoilers. By now, there's only 6 episodes. They came out on July 1st. You should be staying home-ish as much as possible, and therefore you should have watched all 6 episodes of the new series on Netflix. Real quick, though, I think we wanted to talk a little bit about what we've been watching, and I've watched so much that I've forgotten.
Me too. I had to go back and scroll through and be like, what was I watching? What happened?
But I did also add things that I'm planning on watching. Mm-hmm. Maybe some of you have already seen them and can tell us if they're any good. But a couple things that I've watched. I See You, starring Helen Hunt, among others. I believe that is on Hulu. But that was an interesting horror film with a twist. Have you seen I See You?
Why do I think I've seen this? I mean, with Helen Hunt, it's like I remember something. She's a mom.
Yes, it's Helen Hunt in her new face. She is a mom in this movie, and it features a creepy, like a monkey mask of some sort. Somebody wearing one. It's all a blur.
I started it, but I couldn't finish it.
Okay, it's different than what you think.
Okay,
but I enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
So Helen Hunt's face is off-putting now. She's a beautiful woman, but she's had a lot of work done, and but the creepy monkey mask, come for that and stay for twist endings and fun things, if I can remember correctly. It has a 6.8 on IMDb.
Okay,
so not too bad. Beyond that one, I have seen Little Monsters, which is a horror comedy.
I loved that movie.
That one's so cute. It stars Lupita Nyong'o, and it has Josh Gad.
And the zombies.
Josh Gad, going from being, zombies.
It was so good.
Josh Gad going from freaking In My House, he's Olaf, right? My kids are always watching the Frozen movies over and over again. But so seeing Josh Gad being a total asshole that's like cussy and just a horrible person is amazing. And then I will let Kristi talk about these next 2, but Mom and Dad and The Lodge are both movies that I've seen. Mom and Dad, I would recommend. I loved it, although it ends kind of abruptly. I would love to see a sequel. The Lodge, I know has good reviews. I think, Kristi, you enjoyed it. It wasn't for me, so.
Okay. Mom and Dad, I was surprised because I kind of forgot about that movie. And then I was doing what horror movie, I do a search online. What are the best horror movies on Hulu for the month of July? What are the best horror movies on Netflix for the month of July? And I get a list and I see what I haven't seen and I watch it. And I'm like, oh, Mom and Dad. And I was thinking this was going to be the dumbest thing ever. And it was, it is what it is, but it was actually pretty good. And I really enjoyed it. And I love Selma Blair, right? Selma Blair. What she's fucking gone through. And for her to do this movie, she was fantastic. And I hated Nicolas Cage for so long, but all his crazy movies that he's doing now, he's kind of Can I have a new glass? Sorry. My daughter's bringing me wine. He's growing on me again. And now I can't think of the movie that I watched him in. I think it was Netflix or maybe it was Shudder, where they live at the farmhouse and the comet falls or the meteor falls and anyway, it's another version of Annihilation, but I kind of liked it even better than Annihilation or whatever that one was called with Natalie Portman. Yeah. Anyway, so he did a really good job with that one. And then Candy, of course. I mean, he's doing some really off the shit walls movies, and I'm digging them. So he's growing on me. So Mom and Dad, I thought was really good, and I kind of felt like it should have a higher rating, but that was just me. The Lodge, I liked the ending. I liked the ending.
I just kept waiting for that one to have a payoff. Yeah, man.
I kind of wished. I mean, I knew what was going on. I knew it was the kids, right? Like I knew that was going to happen, but the ending was good. That's all I'll say. Yeah. I mean, it was all right. It's watchable, okay? Like, watch it. And some people might be blown away.
What else are you doing in quarantine?
Yeah, we got nothing else to fucking do. Watch it. Otherwise, Coherence, I really dug this because it's a whole dimensional piece where you have to, really fucking pay attention and use your brain. So if you're, not up for that, don't watch this movie. Watch this movie when you're down for strange, trippy, cool possibilities with your brain. Coherence has a 7.2 on IMDb. It's a cult classic apparently. Like it has a huge cult following. I think they said, because when I looked back, I was shocked. I think it was in 2013. I never heard of this movie, so I was kind of shocked that I had never heard of it. But the story is strange things begin to happen when a group of friends gather for a dinner party on an evening when a comet is passing overhead. And it's all about dimensions. So if you don't want to hear anything scientifically about any of that, then don't. But I dug it. I thought it was a really cool concept, and I liked the ending. It was cool. So anyway. Now, the next one, when Stephen King recommends you watch a movie.
You watch it.
You fucking watch it. So Calibre was one that he recommended. And at first, when I started to watch it, I'm like, I'm not digging this because, I didn't think the whole movie. I watched it and I was like, no. But it stayed with me. And you know when something fucks with you and stays with you, you start thinking about it and you're like, and then you change your mind because your initial reaction sometimes doesn't quite bring you, your feelings. It's because it's dark. And even, at times, I'm, covering my face and oh, my God, no. Because it's, So the description is, a shocking deed turned their weekend trip into a nightmare. Now their only hope is to swallow their paranoia and act normal. Oh, my God, girl. So don't watch this with kids, first of all. And don't watch it when you're in a really dark place.
Okay.
It will already take you down a dark place. If you're already in a dark place, you're going to be like, what the fuck?
Great. Okay.
Just be prepared.
Kill yourself type of movies. I'm highlighting this so that I remember
God.
to watch it.
Yeah. It was something. So then The Cured, I really liked. So it has, the girl from Juno. Ellen Page.
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was a good movie, and I'm actually shocked that it's not a little higher rated. A disease that turns people into zombies has been cured. The once infected zombies are discriminated against by society and their own families, which causes social issues to arise. This leads to a militant government interference. So you can just imagine the undertones of this movie isn't just about zombies, but it's a really cool take on zombies. I really enjoyed how they did it. And Ellen Page, so she's one of the leads, and she has a son, and her husband was killed during the zombie outbreak, but his brother was a zombie and was cured. And so he gets released, and the government contacts her and is basically like, we have your brother-in-law and he's cured. Would you like to help him? Because they're basically trying to reach out to people for these zombies to be rehabilitated and get back into the life, because they're not zombies anymore. Like, they've been turned back into human. Well, if you can imagine being a zombie and living with the memories. So they have full memories of when they were zombies. Oh. So you can just imagine what that feels like as a zombie, like person getting over being a zombie and having the memories that they have. And he actually,
like what they've done.
Yes.
Right?
And he is the one that killed his brother, which isn't like, that doesn't reveal anything. You find that out from the very beginning. Okay. But he keeps it from his brother's wife, who takes him in. So, needless to say, shit happens. It's an interesting movie.
Shit does happen.
Yes, and I enjoyed it. I thought, I would recommend all of these movies in different ways. I don't think all of them are horrible, and I felt like if you're not doing anything, do it. I would say my favorite is Coherence, just because it's more of a think piece than it is horror, like gruesome horror. Mm-hmm. It's more of a sci-fi type, think piece. The most horrifying movie on here is Calibre, for sure. Not even a doubt. It's so fucked up that you will lay in a corner and rock back and forth for a while. Think about your life. And that's,
I look forward to that.
Yeah, and that's what I have to say about that. So, yeah, I'm done.
I love it. Okay. Well, on that note, cool. So the ones that I would like to watch, actually, there's a resurgence of Ju-on. And if you guys don't remember what that is, because it's from like 2003 or something crazy. It was the original Grudge. And apparently there's at least 2 of them. I didn't even look it up. I think there actually might even be another one. Excuse me. But anyways, there is an original series now on Netflix. And I was so excited today. So again, quarantine with the whole family. Everybody was napping it was like a unicorn. Everybody was napping at the same time. And I tiptoed downstairs. I queued up my Netflix, and my Netflix was like, we don't recognize this Moni person because, she never watches TV on her own. And I go into that profile and I turn on the Ju-on original series, and it opens and it's going to look really cool. And I hear the da-dong of Netflix, and I'm so excited. And a toddler tiptoes around the corner, and my time is up. So I have not watched it. It has a 6.2 on IMDb. I look forward to it. If you guys have seen it, let me know what you think. Mm-hmm. And additionally, we at the show, we did a review, what was it now, 2 years ago when it came out, Train to Busan. Mm-hmm. That was something that we wouldn't have normally watched, that we ended up all adoring, and it's become like a cult favorite. Well, there is a sequel to it called Peninsula, and it's in 2020, came out, and it's on Shudder right now.
Nice.
So I'm dying to see it because I love Train to Busan. And I hope you guys will check it out. And if you have already, let me know. But without further ado, we have lots of shit talking to do. All these crazy Unsolved Mysteries.
We could literally do a whole episode on every episode of this. They were so I'm seeing a lot of people review these that were like, meh, it's not as good as the original. I'm like, what?
It's a different format for sure, but it's also updated for 2020.
Yeah.
What do they call it? Citizen, holy fuck. Before we go forward, Citizen Detective is the term. What I've been watching that I highly, highly recommend, if you guys have access to HBO, is I'll Be Gone in the Dark.
What is this?
Hold
on.
Show
hey, give me just a second. Hold on.
Sure.
There's huge interference, and I can't understand what's happening. Ooh. What is going on?
I didn't do it. Nobody saw me do it. Can't prove anything.
Oh my God. Okay, I got it. But when I did it, it popped in my ear.
Ooh,
okay.
You okay?
Ooh. Hold on. Let me write that as an edit, because nobody going to want to hear that in their ears. They're going to be like, what the fuck was that? 28 minutes. Edit.
I got to be popping your eardrum out.
Oh my gosh. It was like, and then I hit the cable and it goes, and I was like, in my ear.
Kristi tried to explode her ear.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we back.
All right, we rolling again. What was I just saying?
I'm sorry. You were talking
okay.
about the new show, a different show other than this.
Oh, you guys have to watch, if you have access to HBO, watch I'll Be Gone in the Dark. That show is gut-wrenchingly sad, beautiful, horrifying, scary as shit. It is based off of the novel of the same name by Michelle McNamara, who was married to Patton Oswalt. She passed away while she was actually writing this book. She was finishing this book. And if you watch the series, you will say arguably that the what is he called? The rapist, the East Area, East Area rapist, now called the Golden State rapist or Golden State killer. But he had started originally as just, quote unquote, a rapist in the East Bay area. But anyway, he had raped over 50 people in all throughout California, all up and down the state, murdered a bunch of people, and moreover, continued to, the people that he didn't kill, continued to stalk and taunt, continued to call them afterward and remind them that he could get to them anytime he wanted. Sick man. And Michelle McNamara basically went in deep, and it cost her life as well. And the show, Patton Oswalt's in it. They have real interviews with the victims, anybody who survived the Golden State Killer. You have interviews with the police officers and the people who helped crack the case. It is only 6 episodes. The 6th one airs this coming Sunday, so you can catch up on it now. They're an hour each. It's fucking amazing.
I can't wait.
And hair on the back of your neck's creepy ass television. If you haven't read the book, that's okay, but the book's amazing as well. Highly, highly recommend I'll Be Gone in the Dark on HBO. All right. So hopping into Unsolved Mysteries on Netflix. So this reboot is done by Stranger Things producer Sean Levy, straight to Netflix, and all 6 episodes dropped on July 1st of 2020. Our sources for this article are Screen Rant, Wikipedia, Unsolved.com, Variety, and Netflix itself, their website for descriptions of the show. And Kristi, start us off with episode 1.
I will. The first episode was Mystery on the Rooftop. And holy shit, I was watching that and was just like, how can you say it was a suicide? Okay, anyway, moving on. Who's involved? Ray and Allison Riviera were a newly married couple at the time of Ray's death. While he refused to give an interview for the show, Ray's high school friend and boss, Porter Stansberry, is mentioned in connection to the case. He is never said to be an official suspect or person of interest, but when investigators attempted to speak with him at the time, he refused. Can I ask you a quick question about that?
Sure.
So when you're involved in a murder case, or I guess if it's not a murder case, if it's just a suicide, do you not have to speak to the police? Because he put like a whole cease and desist on the entire company, locked down his company, and wouldn't let any of them speak to the police.
Well, a couple things. You personally have a right to not self-incriminate. Even if you are arrested, you have a right to not speak at all. And since they didn't even arrest him, obviously, he had the right to do that. And as far as the company, I'm sure there's corporate lawyers involved that can find, ways to legally say, unless you get a warrant, we're not talking.
Well, guess what? I don't like that answer. So I'm just kidding. He should have spoken. Anyway, yes. It's shady as shit. So what happened is 8 days after Ray Riviera disappeared, the newlywed's body is found in a Baltimore hotel. Investigators thought he may have jumped. However, some of his personal belongings, like his cell phone and glasses, were found nearby, and they appeared undamaged despite the fall, leading to others to suspect he died under more sinister circumstances. You think? Sorry, but hello? Where and when it happened, it was in Baltimore, Maryland in May 2006. Why it isn't solved. Allison believes that Ray discovered something he shouldn't have, which resulted in his murder. She doesn't believe that he died by suicide, as investigators theorize, which makes sense because here's the thing. So he was sitting at home, just on his computer, chilling, And all of a sudden he gets a phone call and he jumps up and leave like, oh yeah, I was supposed to commit suicide. And like runs out of the house. Are you kidding me?
That today. It was on my list.
Oh, I forgot. I had it on my calendar and I completely forgot. Like, I'm sorry, but that's crazy. Anyway, that just doesn't make any sense to me. People who are suicidal, they just don't behave that way. He had a guest in his home. It's just fucking weird. Anyway, updates to case. Baltimore Police Homicide Major Steve Homan told the I-Team case is officially opened and it was never officially ruled a suicide. Is that so? Because that's not what the police on the show said. One thing we don't see in the show is that Porter actually did talk to Unsolved Mysteries co-creator Terry Dunn, but refused to do so on camera. I actually personally spoke to Porter Stansbury and asked him to interview for the episode. We had a long conversation and he declined to be interviewed. Then why the fuck did he call you? Terry said on the show's podcast. He said they recommended to their employees not to speak to the media because they wanted the entire situation to just kind of die down and not make it a big media event. Sure, because if your best friend fucking dies suspiciously, we want it to just die down. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, nice friend there, by the way.
He would say he didn't put a gag order on his employees, but in the piece, as you know, Michael Bayer, the detective, tried to reach out and couldn't get cooperation from many of the people he tried to speak to. So I think that Mike felt like he hit a brick wall. Terry also revealed Porter did initially speak to the media over Ray's disappearance, adding, one of the things that was very troubling to Ray's wife, Allison, that she told me was that Porter did speak to the media very early on. But what he said was Ray and Allison had been in therapy, which is not true. That Ray had some psychological issues, which were not true. There's no one that we spoke to that supported the idea that Allison was very troubled by the fact that Porter would say that to the media. So what do you think about that?
So that one I was hoping would be solved with these, obviously a big part of having these episodes come out, and for the producers as well, which I have an interview with them at the end of this that we'll talk about, but is that you hope that maybe something will come forward to solve these crimes. Right. And I kind of think that this one, I thought when I watched it, I was like, that one's going to get solved because that gag order that they put on the company, somebody has to have obviously in all these years have quit the company and be willing to talk about it. But so far that hasn't happened. So I don't know, man. The helicopter thing is weird. The whole thing. And you're right. Suicide's not a laughing matter, but people don't jump up and suddenly go run out and do that. Like something hinky happened.
Yeah. And there was actually a follow-up, which I don't agree with. There was a big Reddit posting about his note that he left behind the computer. And there's this long list of movies, and in that one of the movies he lists like a ton of movies in this note, and it's one of them is The Game, which I just actually watched that movie for the first time this year, and it's from like the 90s, and it's a movie about like a millionaire who's bored with life and disenfranchised, and his brother buys him a birthday gift, and It's fucking weird. And so the end of it, in which I'm sorry if I'm blowing it for everybody, but hello, it's been 20 years. If you haven't watched it, that's not my fucking problem. He thinks he's killing himself, but he isn't because it's all a setup. Like he's been driven to feel so badly about his actions that he jumps off a roof, but it's a setup. They're all ready for him to do that. And he lives and he finds a new lease on life and everybody celebrates how wonderful he is. So this guy's like, oh, he faked his own death and this and that. And I'm like, no, I don't think he was jumping off the roof because he thought this was a episode of the fucking Game. Like, oh, because first of all, The Game had a glass ceiling Yeah, no, he wasn't jumping. And first of all, it was proven he couldn't have jumped off the roof because of the angle of the roof. And so
they were talking about him being dropped by a helicopter. I'm like, that's so elaborate.
Right?
Like, what was this guy involved in that caused all this to happen?
So that was the big thing that started circulating. And I was so excited when I read that there was an update. And then I read it and I was like, oh, come on. This was not he didn't die because he thought he was in the movie The Game or The Gift or whatever the fuck that movie is called. No, that was not what he was. No, he did. I firmly, 100% with all my being believe he did not kill himself. And I think some shit happened. And I do not think he jumped off thinking he was in some sort of movie. So I don't know what happened, but I think he got involved in some shit that he couldn't. That killed him.
Any other way. Yep.
That's my thought about it, and that's what I'm sticking to.
Well, I hope someone does the right thing and sheds some light on that one.
If you guys know of anything, any details, please, for the love of God, speak out. These families need some closure.
Yeah, and I actually put that at the end, but unsolved.com is the official site to kind of check out the new updates to it, and also if you have tips. It is the official place to send those tips. So just the tip, though. Don't give it all away. Episode 2 is called 13 Minutes, and this is the story of Pistol Black, who is the son of, I know, quite a name.
I get angry just hearing the title of this one.
Yeah.
Sorry, keep going.
Sure. Patrice Indris, she has a son named Pistol, and he was in 10th grade when Patrice, his mother, went missing. Her best friend, Nancy, spoke about her disappearance. Now enter Rob, Patrice's husband at the time, who is Pistol's stepfather. He was considered a suspect, and honestly, he's the only suspect.
Are you kidding? He's so the creepy. Fucking murderer.
He's the murderer. Both Pistol and Nancy told the police that they thought that he had something to do with it. Mm-hmm. Rob denied. We're not going to be able to do justice to the weirdness that is Rob.
Oh my
but I'll continue, and we can. Rob denies having any other involvement, and actually, he does have an alibi. But again, it's a very carefully thought out alibi. He totally paid somebody else to do it. Mm-hmm. 2 other men were separately considered by police. Each was arrested for the murder previously. Jones at one point confessed to the murder, claiming that he stopped by Patrice's hair salon asking for help jump-starting his car. But this was later dismissed when his account didn't add up, and he ended up later recanting. So what happens? A hairdresser disappears in broad daylight, leaving behind her teenage son. Black last saw his mother when she dropped him off at school that morning. The police came by her hair salon after a client called saying that she was nowhere to be found. When they arrived, the cash register was open and her purse was still inside, and there were no signs of struggle. One of the only things out of place was that her car was parked right outside rather than in its normal spot on the side of the building. This happened in Cumming, Georgia, in April of 2004.
Yeah, like right up the road from us. This is right up the road. I have no idea this happened. It's crazy.
Really?
Yep.
So 20 months after her disappearance, her remains were discovered 6 miles from the salon, but investigators still have no idea what to do or who did it. Viewers, however, suspect her husband. So towards the end of 13 Minutes, this is where it gets even weirder. Rob opens up to the camera about his reaction to his wife's death and the funeral. In one of the most disturbing scenes in the entire series, he unabashedly describes how he requested their funeral home director to lay out her bones and give him a moment alone with her. He goes on to describe how he, quote, picked up her head and carried it around for a while, end quote. He then tells the documentary crew how he used to sleep with her remains, although he pulls her remains out of a closet, and it looks like he's never pulled those out or knew.
That was in like a closed box.
So weird. But he says he used to sleep with them, and he shrugs off this reveal as the perfectly normal, sane thing to do. So diving into this episode a little further, their relationship was tumultuous, and everyone on her side of the, says that she was planning to leave him. He does strike me as like a narcissist or a sociopath who couldn't stand the ego blow of having this beautiful, vibrant, popular woman dump him, basically. So I could see him. My personal theory on the whole thing he had an unhealthy attachment, nay, obsession with her, but the reality of her as a human being with thoughts and feelings who argued against him and that kind of thing was not what he actually wanted. And I think that rather than allow her to leave him and make him look bad, I think he paid the nearest whoever, probably the lowest going rate to kill her. And I think that person, quite unfortunately, did more than just kill her. I think that person probably hurt her and possibly raped her and all those kind of things. And I think I think his grief is in that the idea of her is gone. And I think that his grief is in that he probably didn't want her to meet such a terrible end. He was just trying to get her out of the way. But
can you imagine, though, as her son, that the night she goes missing, he's locked out of his home. He can't go in his home.
The son and the stepfather, regardless of if he killed her or not, have vastly bad blood.
Oh, you think?
Has stories, and I'm sure there are a lot more, about how things were under Rob's, watchful eye when he was growing up. It was awful.
And he won't turn the remains to his son, the son, even though he's got him in some fucking closet in a box.
Give him to somebody who loves her.
Oh my God. I was so sick watching that. I was enraged as a child. I can't imagine, he's at school and the police come and get him and say, do you know where your mother is? Have you heard from your mother? And then finding out she's missing and all these police are everywhere. They take him to the salon and he's freaking out. He goes to go home and he can't go in his home. He's been locked out. He changed fucking locks.
Yeah.
What?
This is a bad dude.
This guy, you cannot tell me that he didn't do it. If he didn't, he's still a piece of fucking garbage.
Yeah.
So
there aren't any updates really to the case, except for that the show has been criticized for not letting viewers know that Rob also remarried. I don't know how long after the fact, but this wife was not in the picture at the time. He is remarried to someone else, yet still keeps the ashes in the closet.
So she's still alive?
She's still alive.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if there's been girlfriends in between.
Sometimes they get away with shit and then they're just like, I don't know, she was here like a month ago, but I haven't seen her since.
I think his sick mind grieves her in his own way. I just think that he's also completely separated what he did to her, allegedly, versus what she
come on. Who else would do it? They were talking about, they were thinking it would have been like a serial killer or something, but no way. No fucking way.
Well, and to have her purse there and to not have anything stolen. Yeah. Nope. Mm-mm.
So the next one, it took me a minute to get into this one because it's all in French. Yeah, you have to actually read, but it's worth it because to me, it's one of the most fucked up stories I have read. I was like, what am I watching? This is the craziest shit ever. The episode 3 is called House of Terror, aka the French one. Who's involved? Count Xavier Dupont de Ligonnès.
Yeah, good luck with that.
And his wife Agnes lived in. I'm sorry, I'm not French, so I'm butchering this, and I apologize. I hope anybody that speaks French isn't wanting to kill me right now. But they lived in Nantes.
That too.
Nantes. I don't know. In France with their 4 children, Arthur, Thomas, Anne, and Benoit. I know that word. I did take French, but I'm very...
don't admit that.
Shitty. I am shitty with the French. He was a businessman, and she worked at a Catholic school. Oh, what happened? A seemingly perfect, affluent French family suddenly disappears. Shortly after they tell friends and family via letter that they were recruited to work undercover for the DEA in the United States, family and friends find this strange and police go back to the house 6 times over the course of 1 week. On the 6th visit, police discover the bodies of Agnes, Arthur, Anne, and Benoit underneath the terrace of the house. Each was wrapped in blankets and plastic bags with a small religious artifact. The family's 2 dogs were also buried under the terrace. Like, really? You couldn't let the fucking dogs go?
Yeah.
Thomas was found in a separate grave. Xavier is nowhere to be found. Even though he cannot be found, there is no physical evidence linking him to the murders. Where and when it happened. It happened in Nantes, France in April 2011. Why isn't it solved? Investigators believe Dupont de Ligons killed his family and then fled, but after successfully disappearing, police have been unable to locate him. No one has seen him in years. Well, let's see. We got lots of updates here. Updates to the case. A popular Unsolved Mysteries theory involves statements that Xavier allegedly made before disappearing. On April 11th, 2004, relatives received a letter in which Xavier claimed that he'd been working for the United States Drug Enforcement Agency and that he and his family would have to enter the Witness Protection Program. This letter has never been scientifically linked to Xavier. However, it does include specific instructions about how family members should proceed moving forward, and that their official story should be that Xavier and his family moved to Australia. In addition, a school that Xavier's children attended also received a letter that announced the family's move to Australia due to urgent professional changes. If the letters are indeed authentic and contain true information, then the bodies found under Ligion's home are the real unsolved. Of course it's them. No. Come on. That's them. He killed them all. The DEA, why would they load a bunch of fucking bodies under the house if they were going to relocate secretly? That makes no sense. But anyway, the DEA theory is supported by the questionable nature of the official investigation. A Reddit user, Reddit users involved, cites the hasty cremation of the discovered remains as notes that multiple people claim to have seen Xavier's wife, Agnes, in the days after she had allegedly been killed. In addition, the victims were reportedly never identified by DNA, prompting family members to speculate about the official findings. Because authorities failed to properly ID the bodies, there's reason to believe that the cover-up plan somehow connects to the Xavier's witness protection narrative, meaning if the Ligion's family was declared dead, then people wouldn't spend time looking for them. It's worth noting that the aforementioned Reddit user believes that Xavier did indeed kill his family, but acknowledges the various bits of information that fuel the conspiracy theories. I believe he killed his family, but that's just me. Even though the DEA witness protection theory may be intriguing, it's unlikely that government agents would allow Xavier to travel through France while using his personal credit card. Also, they're not going to let him kill people or use bodies. No, come on. Then again, one could argue that the Ligion's family was given one final private vacation in their native country before taking on new identities elsewhere. Terry Muir, the Unsolved Mysteries showrunner for Netflix, recently stated that the show received a tip that Ligion's was spotted in Chicago after House of Terror premiered. Although the information has yet to be verified, it does suggest that possibility that Xavier is still out there somewhere. He's definitely out there somewhere, but his family is not. His family is dead. There is no fucking way anybody would plant and hide. If they were trying to get away with a conspiracy, they'd leave the fucking bodies in the house. They wouldn't hide them under the freaking terrace. There's no way. Sorry, that's my personal opinion. Everybody's entitled, but no, I say fuck no. But he killed them and he's out there for sure. And we're going to fucking find you.
Get him. Get him.
Right.
Yeah, that's a weird one. And anyway, he had so much money. And I think that he just couldn't support his family and killed him and went off. But
I don't understand that.
Maybe he got all Carol Baskin did and ended up getting fed to a tiger somewhere.
I just watched because I've been starting over with the Forensic Files because I love, that was my introduction to real true crime shows. Yes, I watched Unsolved Mysteries and all that, but Forensic Files is totally different than, these kinds of shows. And there's one where the guy, it was back in the 50s or the 60s, and he had a whole family, and his family wasn't following Jesus the right way, so he murdered all of them and then took off and started over. and they found him. And that's just this. It reminds me so much of this one that it's crazy. Like the whole concept of killing his entire family. This guy did it because he felt like they were turning their backs on Jesus. But same thing. Like, dad gets tired of everybody's shit and murders everybody and lives a new life. Like, that must be nice. Wow. Some bullshit. And he wasn't caught for like 30 years or something. He was old. And the only way they caught him is they did that whole, you look at a picture of them when they're young, and then you make a clay formation of what they would look like when they're old. Because these forensic files were from like 20 years ago. And so we didn't even have, the type of technology we have now. And this dude looked at his picture and was like, okay, it's been 20 years or whatever, and formed, and he even chose the right glasses. Like, he chose the exact same glasses this dude actually was wearing when he got caught. So anyway, moving on, and I hope this guy burns in hell and gets caught and raped in prison every day.
I hope the next murderers do as well.
All right.
I don't know why this next episode, they're all sad, but it particularly broke my heart, I think, with everything that's going on in our country right now in the Black community. This one's called No Ride Home. The people involved are Alonzo Brooks, his friends and family. And what happened? After attending a party with friends in a rural Kansas town, the 23-year-old never returned home. Friends all thought that he got a ride home with another friend, likely leaving him stranded at a party at the house surrounded by fields near a creek. When he didn't return home, his friends drove back to find his hat and boots strewn on either side of the road. This happened in Singe, Kansas in April 2004. The autopsy did not yield any meaningful results, which is why it isn't solved. Part of it was his body, by the time they fucking found it, was too decomposed. And there's more updates at the end of, when we're done talking about every episode, the interview with the producers of the show. But this was the one where it clearly was a hate crime.
Yes.
Of some kind. And this kid was jumped at a party, and you see the reaction from his friend who had to, I forget what his legitimate reason for having to leave for a little bit was. Oh, no, legitimate. They decided he should go get cigarettes, and his friend then was going to get a ride back. Alonzo was going to get a ride back with someone else. This poor guy was crying because he was saying that he not only would have been there to fight with his friend, he would have gone down and given his life if it could have saved his friend or at least helped him die fighting. And instead, not only did they not find this young man's body for a very long time.
That it makes no fucking sense to me. Sorry.
Makes no fucking sense.
I don't want to interrupt you, but I was like, what the fuck? You search that property and then you don't find it's weird?
Search was very well done.
Give me a break. That or it was brought back. Like, it doesn't make any fucking sense.
And by the time that they did find his body, the decomp again was too pronounced that they were unable to tell if he was kept in a freezer somewhere. So basically, though, the real hair-raising, I mean, the murder is bad enough, but the investigating agents saying that there was no crime and that the case had been closed for a little while. And that was infuriating. And I think this one got a lot of publicity on Twitter. There were a lot of people at that party. Apparently, it was a pretty big party. Somebody fucking knows. More than one person fucking knows something.
Oh, hell yeah.
Updates in the case. Some suspect that the disappearance was hate crime related to Doy. Since the article on Screen Rant was originally published, the FBI has exhumed Alonzo Brooks's body from his grave in Topeka, Kansas, which, gee, thanks for doing your job. This was done on Tuesday, July 21st, 2020. So this was just last week that they did this at the time of recording, which means it was only because of the pressure from this show that they gave a shit. The FBI declined to comment further on the case, although they did confirm that the exhumation was a part of the ongoing investigation. The FBI had officially reopened Brooks's case on June 11th, 2020, again when they started airing 3 weeks before the episode premiered. So the case was generating new buzz. As of now, there haven't been any major developments in this case, but a $100,000 reward has been offered. And U.S. Attorney Stephen McAllister said it defies reason to believe that Alonzo's death was a suicide or that he somehow accidentally tumbled into a relatively shallow creek. Yeah, that was it. The investigating agency was trying to say that he just, that's what I actually tweeted it, and it became a pretty popular tweet, but I ended up saying, like, do they expect us to believe that he just laid down and decomposed?
Right, right.
This young man, this young athlete just lays in the middle of the field and just rots until someone finds him. On July 8th, TMZ reported that his case could crack first in the near future due to the amount of legit tips that they have been receiving. As of now, no new arrests have made, but the victim's mother, Maria Ramirez, believes her son was targeted in a hate crime, stating, "I'm Mexican and his father is black, so he's mixed. They didn't just target one race or kill one race, they killed two. He was targeted because of the color of his skin." Various theories about Brooks's death have emerged online, and victims' friends even state in Unsolved Mysteries that some of the rumors could be true. What's clear, however, at least according to Dr. Mitchell, is that the soft tissue on Brooks's neck was destroyed by animals, so it's impossible to determine if he was strangled. That's what we were saying. And a forensic pathologist also reveals there's no way to prove or disprove that the theory that his body was kept in a freezer and thawed and then placed back in the creek, because again, he was too far gone by the time they found him.
Yeah.
But there were multiple people at the party, and it's been long enough. I wouldn't hope that you would still need to be afraid of them, and I hope somebody speaks up and gets justice for this young man.
I didn't even have words for that one. It was so blatantly a pile of bullshit. They didn't
weren't they like not even looking for a while, but like the family and friends were going and looking, but like the local police agencies were just like, he probably ran away, you know how it goes.
The sad part is like they were so patient and so listen to law enforcement. The law enforcement's looking, everybody. And you gonna tell me, regardless of if either the law enforcement missed the body, that's a fuck up that they're a piece of garbage on, or somebody placed that body there after they started looking and gave permission for the family to look. The family found the body. Oh my God. Like, how can a police force not go, gosh, some fuckeries?
Do they get some of that good, heavy police funding? Does the family get some payment for being the ones to do the legwork and actually finding?
I'm just shocked. Like, what are the odds? Like, think about it. Like, it was 28 days. What are the fucking odds that a body just laid there? They found him like in 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. So either the police are full of shit and didn't do their job, or somebody snuck the body in right after they were done and
PD was in on it. I mean, it's a small town, you know.
It's disgusting how much they think or that they get away with. Now, they don't think they're getting away with it. And it's disgusting to me. And I was the most outraged by that story. I was sick about it. It's so ridiculous. It's an insult to people's intelligence, to be honest with you.
That 24-year-old athlete coming from a party didn't kick his shoes off in a fit of joy and kill himself. It just doesn't even make sense.
And die on the side of a fucking river bank or whatever that was. Yeah, I think I'll just kick my shoes off and go fucking die. Are you kidding me? Don't even get me started.
But I gave you the UFO story.
Thank you.
So
you know me.
To look forward to.
Moni knows me. She always gives me the stuff that she knows I'm gonna like.
Tinfoil hats, y'all.
So put your tinfoil hats on, yes. Berkshire's UFO. I liked this one too. I thought it was an interesting read. Residents of a small town in Great Barrington, Massachusetts, and some from the surrounding area experienced a UFO. In 1969, residents of the Berkshire area in Massachusetts were convinced they saw a UFO. You think? Each recalls a similar silver flying object. Some say they saw it fly across the sky that humid summer night. Others, who were children at the time, claim they were taken up in it and cannot account for hours that night. So it happened in Berkshire, Massachusetts on September 1st, 1969. Why it isn't solved, there is no physical evidence, of course, from from the alleged UFO sighting. Even tape of the local radio broadcast was taped over. The local newspaper didn't report on it. All that remains are people's firsthand accounts. So there's no updates on this one. There were so many stories. It's not just like one person or one family group. There's many family groups that this happened to. And I found it intriguing. I didn't know they were going to get all crazy and do like a UFO throw in there, but I appreciated it. I thought it was a great story. And apparently we're about to get released that UFOs exist anytime now by the government. So nobody gonna be.
My only grain of salt with that, and I don't want to look a gift horse in the mouth because I love that stuff, but it's just going to be another distraction from elections and shit going on. But anyways, that's the hope. But luckily we have a 24-hour or a 2-hour news cycle, so people will know it, consume it, talk about it, and be over it by then. So I guess
because something else will fucking show up, but I'm not going to miss it. And I'm angry that it came out when it comes out, when everything's so horrible. But I will appreciate it and see the writing on the wall and hope it's at least like factual, because God forbid you don't know. But
it's something I've wanted to know my whole life. And obviously lots of people have lived and died and not known.
How do we not trust? But how can you not trust it right now? Like, I think if you've followed us within a certain amount of time, you've figured out that we're not the most excited people about this administration, and you do your best to kind of get through things, but I am having major trust issues. That's an understatement. And I am pissed that if it was going to come out, it's coming out now because come on, like we're exhausted. Like there's
the administration who did that, and we can't take any more 2020. They're gonna put this information out. It's gonna be because the aliens are on their way to like blast us.
I honestly think they're doing this to exhaust us, like to the point where we just lay down on the ground and go, God, fuck, do whatever you want,
and just fucking
just do whatever you want. What do you want? Just do it. I'm exhausted. I can't take any more. Just fucking do it. Like that's what
I love you 2021 because we don't love no 2021.
If we're gonna see 2021, but anyway, let's keep going.
Last episode of this run of the series is called Missing Witness, episode 6. Who's involved? Leanna Chapin went missing when her sisters Robin and Brandy suspect their mother Sandy and her husband Chris are responsible.
I forgot about this one. Oh my God.
Talk about twisty, fucked up things. Leanna disappeared shortly after confessing. After confessing years later to helping her mother dispose of her stuff. Okay. Gosh. So basically, her mother, she had helped her mother dispose of her stepfather's body in May of 1999. She ended up confessing years later and disappeared within days of that. Her mother claims that she ran off with a man to Florida and left behind her young son, but they've never found any trace of her. So her two sisters are not convinced. And knowing that their mother is capable of murder, they're looking at their mom, which is really messed up too. This happened in Steelville, Missouri, and in Ozark Mountains in February of 2006. Why it isn't solved, Leanna's body has never been found, and there seems to be no other physical evidence to support that Sandy may have killed her. This was the episode where the daughter who was accusing her mother of making her sister disappear was granted access to property that she believes her sister's body may be found on. And there used to be a well there that has since been taken out or covered up. And they actually, the mother allowed the cadaver dogs to come and check out the well area. They did, or cadaver dogs or some kind of, some kind of like ultrasound, not ultrasound, but something where they were able to look into the ground.
Right.
And basically see if there was a body. And they determined there was no body buried there. So they still don't know, could she be somewhere else on the property? Because they were only given permission to look in that one spot. Where is her sister? So there's been updates to the case. Netflix released an unaired clip from Missing Witness in which investigator Brian Martin recalls a telling interview with Lena about Gary's disappearance. So according to Lena, she didn't want to be seen with her stepfather on the night he left Sandy, and so she sat on the passenger seat floor of his vehicle. But according to Martin, Gary's floor was littered with garbage. The investigator reportedly told numerous colleagues that, quote, nobody has sat on that floor for a long time, end quote, with the implication being that Lena's official story was not legitimate and thus would make her testimony less reliable in court. Martin also said that Chris Klemp's then wife, Jennifer, this is a twisty story, suggested that he was involved with Gary's murder. She said they were having a screaming match and that he said something to the effect of, I can't worry about this stuff right now. I've got to worry about killing a man. So Chris Klemp is, then wife Jennifer. Yeah, so this whole murder story in 1999 may not be the case. Because Sandy and Chris Klemp don't appear on camera, so this is the mom and her now husband, don't appear on camera, even though they did grant them the ability to be on that property. There's only one side provided in the docuseries. For many viewers, however, the evidence may seem to indicate that not only did Sandy presumably murder her second husband, but that she also is somehow responsible for her daughter Lena's disappearance. If Lena's story would have theoretically been picked apart in court, then it would have benefited the Klemps. But it certainly is plausible that Lena used her story as a defense mechanism because she was a child at the time, whether she was speaking to her mother, her sister, or investigators. Lena disappeared at the age of 20, and Unsolved Mysteries shows that she was under intense, long pressure during her formative years, because of what her and her mother allegedly did to her mother's previous husband. So there was a lot of pressure upon her as she was growing up. And what's one of the things that makes you want to pull your hair out about this too, that they don't mention in this little recap, is that they do mention briefly that Lena leaves behind a young son. Yeah. Apparently, the mother, Sandy, has always wanted to have a son. Mm-hmm. And so now that her daughter disappears, the baby son has no mother. And somehow, instead of the sisters being able to get custody, I guess because they were so young then, she gets full custody of this little boy, who now calls her mom, who she's raised as her son, who's been her golden child, and she doesn't talk to her daughters, and she got to raise Lena's son, which is just blood boiling to watch this woman who probably murdered or disappeared her own daughter, raise her daughter's son as if she's the mom. It's disgusting.
Yes, it is. That's all I can really say about it. I mean, how have they not arrested this woman? This is the one that's like so blatant and in your face.
Yeah.
How do they not? Oh,
it's all circumstantial. I mean, it's like she benefits from the woman dying, but other than that, no one saw her kill her. No one found the body. Like that's it. So what we have after this is what the showrunners say about the Netflix series in a cute question and answer with Variety. And so basically, Kristi, what's in bold is the Variety interviewer asking the questions, and then the rest of it is their answers.
Okay. What showrunners say about the Netflix series Q&A with Variety? What's happening with Ray Rivera? There's been a lot of conversation about the note that he left behind and also the helicopter theory. When you have a case this mysterious and you cannot figure out how Ray came off of that roof and landed where he did, I was up on that roof and I'm baffled. I think people look for stuff. Well, what other theories are there if he didn't come off the roof? Well, maybe he was dropped from a helicopter. That theory has been circulating. Patrice Andres? I know with Patrice Andres, the GBI hasn't shared the tips that have come in on that particular case. People are hoping to find Patrice's wedding ring or somebody who knows what happened to that, or the blue Lumina. Somebody could connect that to someone that. That would be great, but we don't have any specifics on the case. I'm like, someone that. That would be great, but we don't have any specifics on the case. Alonzo Brooks. Alonzo Brooks was probably the case we've received the most emails on. Lots of theories that we have already heard when we were producing the episodes. But there are some new names that have come in and that we forwarded to the FBI. Awesome. Has no one come forward who was at the party? There were a lot of people that were at the party. Somebody witnessed what happened. We just hope they'll come forward. The FBI is offering that $100,000 reward, which they just announced in the last month. That was so incredible and hopefully motivates somebody to come forward with what they know in that case, because somebody knows. That's true. Was the Brooks case reopened because Unsolved Mysteries was digging around? Yeah. Just kidding. We're told the reward was announced before the show was launched. Okay, whatever. That they got word that the show was coming, I bet. We were told that when we were producing the episode over a year ago, the FBI started to look at it again and reopen it. Yep. But they just recently made the announcement that it was reopened and that the reward was being offered because we reached out to the Kansas Bureau of Investigation and the FBI about the case. At the end of the episode, Billy Brooks, Alonzo's brother, says, this case needs to stay open. It should never have been closed. Yeah. And then there you go. The case was reopened right before the show premiered. What the fuck, people? I'm sorry, but I'm so tired.
Hey, you know what? At least it got reopened, I guess.
I know, but I'm so tired of the shit. We feel like there might have been a connection. You think, and we've been told that there was a connection. No fucking shit. Anyway, I'm sorry. You know what? The producers, I know they can't shit on the people that are trying to help the investigations, but we can. So that's my job, and that's what I'm doing. Sad but good news. Am I still to read this? Sad but good news?
Yeah, just because it's still about the same case.
You know, people always say sad and they say tragic, and that's really true, but the show gives people so much hope, and the Brooks family has hope. Oh, this breaks my heart. Maria, Alonzo's mom, everyone has hope. Rodney English, who was his childhood friend, reached out to us by text and said, there are really a lot of tips coming in. They're so excited. I hope that their hopes aren't dashed, but that's what the show does. I think the audience hopes these cases will get solved. They get invested with these characters and they want to see closure. We want for the families, but we want for the audience. First of all, I understand that they worded this way, but I don't look at these people as characters. They're people, and it breaks my heart.
Producer for
that they wrote that because that's not how I look at this.
People that did Stranger Things and wrote characters. When they're human beings in this case.
I work with public relations. I mean, give me a fucking break. You don't say shit like that. They're not characters. No, we care.
They're human beings,
right? Do you personally feel that Brooks was where he was located the whole time, despite not being found by the KBI? That's a good question. I go back and forth with that, honestly. That's one of the most mysterious aspects of this case. Was Alonzo's body there all the time? And was it underwater and then it popped up when a rainstorm came along? Or was his body placed there? How do they not know that? You would fucking know that. Oh, come on.
Well.
We just got a tip from an entomologist. She was looking at these photos of Alonzo's clothing, and there were maggots on that clothing. She said those maggots often can tell a story of how long. Are you just figuring that fucking out? Of how long that body had been exposed.
They didn't investigate back then.
Oh my God. We passed that on to the FBI. Really? We've got this whole thing. It's a new thing called maggots. Are you fucking kidding me? I'm sorry, but I'm like, my mind is exploding right now. We passed that on to the FBI, and hopefully they have somebody in their system that could take a look at that. It's probably not going to solve the case, but it could answer the question that you're asking, which is how long was Alonzo's body there? Really quick, before you move on to a different case.
Sure.
For the first time when I was watching a show, I logged on to Twitter, and I knew that I was late because it had already dropped a couple of days before that I started watching it, but I really needed to connect to social media while I was watching these because I was just like, what?
Yeah.
And
we were doing the socials in real time as we were watching too. Yeah, for sure.
And the second I got on, I saw Alonzo's family. Please amplify my uncle's. It was her uncle's case. Please amplify his case. Please read his case. Please watch his case. Just begging and begging and begging for his case to be looked at and amplified. And it just, I mean, I was watching it, but it fucking broke my heart. Oh my God. Like, what the hell? There's no answer. Like, everything that they're talking about, it just makes me crazy. Like, I'm not even a detective, and I can tell you that fuckery was afoot here. So it breaks my heart. I can't imagine the helplessness that they feel. And I'm sorry. And I just hope that maybe we can some way aid people to watch this and come forward. Really, that's all I can say, because it's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
I'm over here crying. So just let me have my tears. Anyway, let's move on.
That's how I've been all week.
God,
yep. Okay.
sucks.
So, and then again from Variety. And what's going on with Lena Chaplin's case? Well, Lena, we just hope that someone would come forward and say where she is buried. That would be the dream in that case, which is really sad, but that would help lead to an investigation, hopefully.
Right.
And Javier Dupont. Javier, we got the most interesting tip. Somebody was actually in Chicago. I think they were on Lakeshore Drive, and they heard this guy talking French, and they looked at him, and they said they had just seen the episode. They sent us a photo, and it really did look like Javier. It was striking, so we sent that tip on. We mentioned this, but again, this is just a stranger. We don't have a name. We don't have anything specific. In the Javier case, what we're hoping for is that he's remarried or has a girlfriend or lives next door to somebody or has a coworker who absolutely 100% knows that that's him. We need a very specific lead because those leads come from all over the world. Javier looks so much like so many other people. With Netflix's global reach, if Javier is going to be found, we're really hoping that the Netflix audience will find him if he's alive. That's the mystery. Did he kill himself after he went through that elaborate work that he did, or is he out there somewhere? So we're hoping that he is catchable if he's alive because of Netflix's reach, global reach, or national reach. And then upcoming, they've already ordered more episodes. So in the next 6 episodes, will there be a ghost episode? Yes, but I'll qualify that and say it's an unusual ghost episode. That's all I'll say. It's different, a bit different. And as I mentioned earlier, listeners can read updates and submit tips to unsolved.com.
Yes, please do so. People need some peace.
Yeah, they do.
Especially the alien one. Especially the alien one. They need some peace.
I forgot to mention that dude that was on the alien one that showed how he fell onto the ground by falling onto the ground and rolling around in the grass. Made me laugh so hard.
It's good times. Good times. Hey, you know what? I loved that, first of all, they were all still living there. Like, they were all there, and they're, like, non-apologetic about it. And they're like, that's right, we're here. We were abducted by aliens. What? And everybody's like, do, 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 do. Like, they didn't even care. And I was like, that would be me. Like, I would, because, they have, like, this family farmhouse that they live in. And it's just so cool. I have mad respect for them, and I think it was awesome, and I enjoyed it. So it added a lovely, fun alien abduction story that they probably don't feel is fun, but it did. It was fun for me.
It was a little break from kind of the heavy of all of this.
Nobody died, so it was like, okay, it's nice that nobody died.
Yes,
anyway.
Very much. They just got probed. No big deal.
A few probes, a few abductions. And yes, I get it. That is horrible. But did you die?
But did you die?
First of all, I would like to say thank you to Moni for setting up this show. She put everything together. And right now we're struggling. We got a lot going on. And I'm glad that she not pressured me, like, put a knife to me, but was like, hey, you want to do a show? I was like, yeah.
Do a show, bitch.
You know what? I do. Thank you for asking. So,
and then I was like, we get to do something normal.
Holy shit.
I'm so excited.
Are you asking me to be normal right now? I don't know what that feels like.
Don't be basic, just be normal.
Right. So I appreciate that. And she put the show together, and thank you. Not that I need to thank you, but thank you. So thank you.
Woot woot. You're welcome. And listeners, you're welcome for the free entertainment. We hope you love it. But this was fun to do, and we're happy to be back, and we look forward to you enjoying this episode and Kristi's Stormy Daniel episode coming up next week.
Woo-hoo. And by the way, that one might be before this one. I don't know. We'll see what happens. What's going to happen. I might post this one first. I might post the other one first. That's the fun. You just don't know what you're going to get. So yes, so if you get this one first and not that one, then that's good. If you get the other one first and this one second, then you get that. So anywho, thank you guys for always being a huge supporting force. And we've gotten our messages going, where are you? And we're sorry, we're back. We're going to do our best to continue. Moni's settled. We were just waiting for me and my life to, calm down, and then Moni to get her shit settled, and now we're here. We are. So,
yes, we are.
So, if you would like to follow me, you can do that.
Oh yeah, we do that too. Socials.
So you can do like a social media thing, and I probably would bore you to death. But I am at Creepin' It Kristi and Creepin' It, and then Kristi. And then I also do Twitter, which would really bore you to fucking death, at creepin_it.
I do Twitter. I'm exciting on Twitter. I fight for social justice and promote artists and talk about comics and fuck around. But I am Moni Bear across the board, and buy our book. CreatorsAssemble.org. Support some great creators. $12, 100% to charity. Buy it. It's really beautiful. It's 50 pages. It's a labor of love for $12. You're not going to find a better deal. Instant download. So thank you. We love you 2021, and we will talk to you guys soon.
Creep it.